It's been debated among fans of Sonic the Hedgehog over the years about what the first Sonic movie really is. While the first one officially released in theaters is the 2020 movie produced by Paramount, many point to the OVA from the mid-90s to be the first official Sonic movie. It even says in the title, it's Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. Even still, some will go all the way back to Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and consider the Chaos Emerald special or the Christmas special to be the first feature-length Sonic movie. As for me, I see those specials as, well, specials. Christmas specials are always Christmas specials, and the Chaos Emerald part of the series was split in 4 parts initially, so I see that as more of a story arc. Personally, I consider the first Sonic movie to be the one that never happened. Let's start at the beginning. The year was 1992. Micheline Risley was the newly appointed entertainment director at Sega of America. After a large success with Sonic's first cartoons, Sonic SatAM and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the outstanding success of the video game Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Risley decided to take the Blue Blur's popularity one step further. It was time to make a movie. Sega ended up getting in contact with MGM Studios and Trilogy Entertainment to discuss plans for the movie and what it could be about. A man named Richard Jeffries was tasked by Risley and Sega of America CEO Tom Kalinske with writing a story treatment for the plot. This movie would be known as Sonic Wonders of the World. Similar to how the 2020 movie panned out, Wonders of the World is going to be a CGI and live-action hybrid, with the titular hedgehog teaming up with human characters to take down Robotnik and save the world. Robotnik's plan this time was to use the Chaos Emeralds to digitize the Wonders of the World for an amusement park and make big money off of paying customers to see them. And of course, enslave children to get those Chaos Emeralds. The human characters featured in this movie contained a middle schooler named Josh and his divorced parents. Side note, it feels like everything in the 90s had split parents, maybe that's just me. Josh ends up accidentally bringing both Sonic and Robotnik into the real world from his video games, and so Josh and Sonic team up to get the Chaos Emeralds, defeat Robotnik, and send him and Sonic back home into the game. So you're probably asking, how does Josh bring Sonic into the real world? It's all through a mix of weird AI computer technology and, insanely enough, the cancelled Sega Saturn game Sonic Extreme, which this movie was actually going to be a tie-in for. Josh would have plugged his Saturn into the AI computer and poof! Sonic! Extreme has a history all its own, from its conception to its cancellation, but for those who are out of the loop, a brief summary. Sonic Extreme was going to be released from the Saturn in 1996 as Sonic's big 3D debut. It would have been the introduction of new character Tiara, as well as returning bad guys Metal Sonic and Fang the Sniper. Development on this game, put simply, was utter hell. Game engines were constantly being switched around. The team attempted to use the engine for Nights into Dreams, but had to stop after Yuji Naka threatened to quit Sega if they pulled that stunt, look where that got him. And one developer was nearly driven to having months left to live. Ultimately, the game got scrapped in favor of a Sega Saturn port of Sonic 3D Blast. Obviously, Extreme getting cancelled was just one of the many reasons that Wonders of the World also got scrapped. Another factor was creative issues. When Jeffries gave back his film treatment to Sega of Japan for review, Vice President Shinobu Toyota only had a comment about the villain. The villain in the treatment was Robotnik, but Toyota requested for a new big bad to be created for the movie instead. Because in his words, quote, "For video gamers, the Sonic-Robotnik confrontation is not new," end quote. There was speculation that Toyota wanted a different villain to reflect not only the future of Sonic as a whole, but also because he wanted to utilize the villain for future video games. Before a new villain could even be thought up, however, all studios involved pulled out of the movie deal. Trilogy co-founder Penn Densham explained from his point of view, saying, quote, "I pulled us out of the project when I realized that Sega wanted to hold on to the original developer's origin story, which I could not see working in a film structure. And they did not want to insult the game developer by letting us work out a more feature-friendly approach, so we refunded our development fees." When Jeffries caught wind of the news, he was disappointed to say the least, saying, quote, "I don't know when exactly it happened, but I got a call from my agent to say that MGM and Sega couldn't come to an agreement on a corporate level that would work for them. It wasn't going to work out, and they were going to pay me off. And I thought, gee, that's too bad, because it's a really good idea," end quote. After the deal with MGM and Sega fell out, Jeffries was allowed to keep pitching the idea, and so he decided to pitch his treatment to DreamWorks. Unfortunately, they also declined it, due to not wanting to pay licensing fees to Sega for using their character, preferring to use original concepts or characters they wouldn't have to pay large licensing fees for. And thus, Wonders of the World was doomed to the sands of time. Forever. Until now. According to the Lost Media Wiki, a man named Jacob Berkeley received access to the treatment in March of 2022 as part of research for his book, The Complete History of Sonic SatAM. Risley herself was the one who sent the treatment and gave Berkeley permission to share it online. The treatment was released to the public in 2022, with the exception of a few missing pages relating to the climax. As of this video, those pages are still being looked for, so unfortunately, we won't know yet exactly how Sonic and his human buddy saved the day. But we can imagine. And imagine you will. I have the story right here, and this is such an interesting part of Sonic's history, I feel like I personally have to share it with you. So without further ado, here is a treatment of Sonic Wonders of the World from 1995, interpreted by me. Enjoy. We start with a story narrated by 12-year-old Josh about a fighter pilot named Sonic, who broke the sound barrier in a jet plane while wearing a blue hedgehog on his jacket. The second he broke the sound barrier, he disappeared and was never heard from again. This turns out to be the topic for a term paper that Josh hasn't written yet, and he only has until tomorrow morning to get it done before a parent-teacher meeting has to be called. Josh exits school and gets picked up by his dad. See, Josh's parents are divorced with joint custody, and it's his dad's turn this time to bring his kid home. The dad is a computer nerd who made an AI computer called the XRI, standing for Extremely Radical Intelligence. Once he gets Josh to his apartment, he goes out for a computer part while telling Josh not to touch his stuff. So of course, Josh goes to the XRI and asks it to write his report on Sonic the Fighter Pilot. The XRI doesn't know who Sonic the Fighter Pilot is, so naturally, Josh whips out his Sega Saturn and plugs in his copy of Sonic X-treme into the computer to show the XRI who Sonic the Fighter Pilot is. By playing a Sonic the Hedgehog game. Makes perfect sense. As Josh is playing X-treme, he notices that Sonic starts to get a mind of his own, and eventually complete sentience from the player. He looks out at Josh. Josh looks at Sonic. Sonic then busts through the screen into the real world and meets Josh face to face. Meanwhile, Robotnik comes through the screen as well, immediately ready to take over the real world. In a burst of hyper bravery, Sonic completely wrecks the apartment and breaks out into town to defeat Robotnik, all the while destroying chimneys and making a little girl cry. Both of Josh's parents then come back to see what happened, and Josh lies and says a burglar broke in. Josh's mom scolds the dad for leaving Josh unattended like this and storms out, taking her child with her. That night, Josh is now staying at his mom's place when Sonic bursts in, somehow knowing this is where Josh ended up. Sonic tells him that Robotnik got away and is looking for the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic himself also needs the Chaos Emeralds, not just to defeat Robotnik, but because he might actually die in the real world if he doesn't have Chaos Energy to support him. Josh and Sonic then form an alliance and bust out to find the emeralds. Almost immediately they find one encased in a rock somewhere. The emerald gives Sonic his energy back, and Josh gets to use it to write his term paper in a minute. Plotline all wrapped up, there we go. Meanwhile, Robotnik steals children and turns them into cyborgs to force them into digging up the rest of the Chaos Emeralds at an abandoned theme park. As it turns out, Josh's dad also ends up getting a job there to build advanced AI rides for the park's grand reopening, unaware that Robotnik has nefarious purposes for it. After getting another emerald, somehow, Josh gets taken by his dad to the theme park to see his new job in action. While there, he and Sonic discover Robotnik's plan. The advanced AI rides the dad made are stealing more children and replacing them with fake robot copies who inconspicuously obey their parents, while the real kids are forced to dig up the Chaos Emeralds. With the power of the emeralds combined with the AI technology, Robotnik will recreate the natural wonders of the world for the theme park and charge big money for paying customers. Suddenly, Josh and Sonic get surrounded by the cyborg children and try to fight them off. Sonic uses up his power helping Josh escape, but at the cost of himself getting captured by Robotnik. Josh runs back to try and convince his dad about Robotnik, but of course the dad doesn't believe him and just dumps it with his mom. So instead, Josh decides now is the perfect time to tell his mom everything about the XRI computer, Sonic, Robotnik, and the theme park. Horrified, Josh's mom calls a shrink. After the big, climactic fight is over, Josh and his parents exit the game world. Though Josh is sad, the Hedgehog insists he stays behind to fight Robotnik so the world can continue to be at peace. They say goodbye as Josh leaves. The dad tells Josh when they're back in the real world to take the XRI computer and put it away somewhere where it can never be abused again. Josh says yes, but one last time looks down at the screen, sees Sonic and winks. Sonic winks back. The end. Thank you so much for watching this. This was really fun to make. This was a blast to discuss this story. I've been really interested in this specific topic for a while now, and I'm glad I got to make a video on it finally after all these years. I hope you liked it too, and if you did, leave appreciation, and I will see you in the next video. So, bye! Hey guys, current day Ada here. So, I know this was supposed to be the end of the video, I'm sorry, but there's actually a development that I literally just found out about today, and I figured I'd probably add this just so we know more. Like, the story isn't really over yet. Like, there's something else here. So, as you see, I'm on the Lost Media wiki page right here, and according to the page, again, found recently, just found out about this today myself, there's an earlier film treatment of the movie. So looking at the Lost Media Wiki page, it says, in January 2023, an eBay seller by the name of Mad Max 3 was selling a film treatment of the movie. The treatment was titled Sonic the Movie, and it was credited to Penn Densham and Richard B. Lewis. Unknown if anyone purchased the treatment until February 2024, aka right now, as I'm recording this, and also this month, when it was revealed the winner of the auction was Will from the Twitch account, The Game Show Game, who on February 12th, 2024, live-streamed a full reading of the treatment with special guests, including Sonic YouTuber Cybershell. The treatment is an earlier version of the movie. It is dated November 11th of 1994, around a year before the 1995 Wonders of the World film treatment. So yeah, I just figured that was a pretty cool thing to add. This is just really interesting, and I figured this would just be a nice little way to cap this off. The story isn't fully over, just found this out, very recent, very fresh to me, but this is really cool. I keep reiterating that, but I just want to point that out. This is really cool, so I'm gonna stop it here because this is the end of the video. I'm sorry, no the fuck it isn't the end of the video, because I just read a little blurb for Sonic the Movie. What the fuck am I looking at? So I'm gonna show it to you right now and read it off, so again, you can understand what I'm looking at. I'm just gonna read this. Okay, Sonic the Movie, right here. In telling this original interpretation of the Sonic story, we are going to attempt to introduce a new mythology to the movie-going audience. We ask you to keep in mind that we are all selling a live-action movie to a broad family audience, many of whom have never played the Sonic video game. Makes sense. For this reason, we believe that the Sonic movie should be a Genesis story, and as we discussed in our various story sessions, will involve a teenage boy who transforms into the Sonic character. Straight up Teen Hedgehog. This is Teen Hedgehog, for real. Sonic isn't fucking in this. It's a kid who becomes quote-unquote Sonic. What the fuck is this? Like, okay, I'm actually gonna keep going. I'm really sorry that the video is kind of bloating out the way it is, but I need to keep going for the sake of you guys. And by the way, this is the original, look at this. This is the original treatment for Sonic the Movie. This is not like fake. This is original. This is real. I swear to God, I'm not making this shit up. I couldn't if I tried. It's Teen Hedgehog. So we got literally the beginning of, like, Jurassic Park here or something, whatever. The man looks up at a figure playing the mysterious refrain. Silhouetted in sunlight, yells, "I don't care what you do to me." The figure gestures with his bow, and a grid on the other side of the pit opens. The man becomes stone silent. Shaft of light cuts through, illuminating skeletons of those who came before him, their remains scattered on the floor. A large shadow looming, a close-up of spittle, fangs, and fur. A creature, its head hangs hideous as it hangs in the silhouette's nostrils flaring. Did Sonic just kill a man? I think Sonic just killed a man. Sonic has committed murder multiple times. What the fuck is this? I'm sorry, I have to keep reiterating. What the fuck is this? Crash cut to Jimmy Hedgeman. Okay, so it's Sonic Man. It's Sonic Man from Sonic 06. What the fuck? Jimmy Hedgeman is a 17-year-old on a hormone high trying to figure out where he fits into the scheme of the universe. The only thing he doesn't seem to have is a love life. Wah wah, but he's trying. Alright, Jimmy. Two teenage girls are glued to the backseat as his car races on. An officer pulls them over. His buddy hides the half-filled beer in the glove compartment. Jimmy feeds the officer an imaginative excuse, but it's not working. It's his third traffic violation since he got his license. Jimmy makes another attempt at pleading, and the officer's second thought, "Just show me your registration's up to date, and I'll get you on your way." He gets to the glove box. The beer falls out. If they catch you again, you get a couple of days in the cooler to think things over. The worst is yet to come. Jimmy has to call his father. Okay, so now we get to apparently how Teen Sonic is going to work out. So there's Jurassic Park dude, and he's like working with DNA. Dr. Hedgeman. Oh, is this Jimmy's dad? Because Jimmy is Jimmy Hedgeman. This is really stupid. This is really fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Wait, is Dr. Hedgeman going to be Dr. Robotnik? I swear to God if it is, that's going to be so fucking funny. Dr. Hedgeman is working on a government-funded program that's trying to unlock the mysteries of DNA. Moving to the dead plant, he plunges a needle into the heart of its root. So he's trying to, like, combine plants with animals? I don't think that works. So Dr. Hedgeman exits the police station. A single parent trying trying to understand his post-pubescent son and somehow continue his research. He's having a tough time at both. So they're just chilling. Oh yeah, Jimmy's wearing a bomber jacket that says Sonic or Bust on it, so sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious. Jimmy wanders into a lab and starts looking at the weird collection of equipment. He looks in one cage and an egg starts to crack open and throws it at the baby snake. He moves to the next, opens a cage, and plays with a hedgehog named Squeakers. Oh, there's a little hedgehog in this. As we're looking at this, not funny. The notes on this, holy shit, that's hilarious to me. Shelves at the lab are choked with bottles of everything from pickled snake brains to starfish. Jimmy points to one showing it to Squeakers. Look, it's the newest thing since Pet Rocks. Pets in a bottle. Not funny. That's so fucking funny to me, actually. No, that actually is funny. I'm sorry, his father snaps, put that back. Jesus, Jimmy, when are you gonna grow up? Oh my god, we have the word Jesus in a Sonic movie. This is not a Sonic movie, I'm sorry. This is just stupid, I love it. There's an awkwardness, a moment of father and son not knowing how to reach each other. Chill, Dad, I made a mistake, alright, no need to crucify me. In a Sonic movie? Maybe you need a firmer hand in your life. That school of yours doesn't seem to be able to handle you. Hedgehogs always make their mark. My grandfather was killed trying to break the sound barrier, trying to leave his mark. Was his grandfather's name Sonic? That'd be so fucking silly. Jimmy's father throws it back. Oh, hell yeah, Jimmy's dad. You're so goddamn in a Sonic movie? I'm trying to be quiet because I'm in a dorm right now and the walls are so fucking thin. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to my floor mates, but holy shit. One day you're gonna drop dead of a heart attack and I won't notice the difference. I swear to God if that's foreshadowing. I swear to God. Jimmy leaves the place, people come back in, and then we're back to Dr. Hedgeman. I swear to God if he becomes Dr. Robotnik. One of the men named Face, that's stupid, has a severe skin condition that makes his skin look like it's almost dripping off his face. That's really scary, actually. Redefining the cutting edge of DNA research on dormancy and cell regeneration during hibernation. Dr. Edgman asks, who the hell are you? Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Face picks up a paperweight after Dr. Hedgeman's desk, plays with it. So he's got like a boss and like weird mafia shit or whatever. Do something for us. He says no. Let me give you one. Jimmy sees one of them and take out a gun! Oh wait, we're back at Jimmy's place? Dr. Hedgeman. The door starts to open. Oh, does Jimmy come back? Oh, he does come back. Look at that. Jimmy hides in a storage cabinet. Through a crack, Jimmy sees one of the men take out a gun. Dr. Hedgeman moves back. They motion him to the floor. He grabs for the cabinet, topples it at them, and lays face down, drenched in the liquid from the broken bottles. So Jimmy gets into like a little cabinet, right? And his dad just is like, oh, cabinet. Throws it, not knowing his son is inside. That's really weird. His father physically struggles. Face pulls a can from his pocket and sprays Hedgeman with a kind of chemical gas. Drops to the ground, his head hitting the counter. Jimmy tries to right himself inside. He notices a shard of glass dripping with a strange blue liquid. As he pulls out the shard, his vision is blurry and he feels a queasy for a second. The room seems full of overpowering odors. He closes his eyes, shakes his head to block it out, and it's gone. So he just became Sonic. That's how Sonic happened. So they kidnapped the dad, and he might be dead. I don't know. Jimmy kicks at the cabinet until he bends the door enough to squeeze out. He takes off after them. As he runs, he staggers and falls, but catches up in time to see containers been loaded into a truck with about 30 other barrels like the one holding his dad. He looks at its palm and it's swelling. Oof. Jimmy goes to the police station. The cop is like, oh my god, you're drunk. And they leave. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, not lying. I thought I saw pursuit and I genuinely thought it said fursuit. I'm so sorry. So now Jimmy's getting chased, he's running, his injured hand cramps up and he has trouble turning the steering wheel. He looks in the rearview mirror and sees streaks of blue hair. He shakes his head, closes his eyes, and when he reopens them, he's normal. Oh my god, he's turning into Sonic. The cop tries to cut Jimmy off. Jimmy crashes into him. Oh my god. Jimmy leaps over the hood and races off. The cop isn't even out of his car before Jimmy's out of sight with an incredible burst of speed. So he's running. He's a fast boy. Jimmy searches hoping to find a clue, opens the cabinet. He examines one of the broken bottles labeled Hedgehog Dormant DNA. Who'd believe me anyway? And then he sees the tape recorder. He can hear everything. Back to the house. A groggy old woman, Mrs. Deedhammer, okay, sees Jimmy. Hedgeman, it wasn't enough you refused to show up my class. Oh, so she's a teacher? She is a teacher. Why is a random high school Spanish teacher showing up at, like, making a house call, being like, hey, you aren't in class, and now you feel the need to wake me up at 3 a.m.? Oh, he went to her house. Oh, okay. Jimmy continues to act strangely. He explains, I'm not feeling myself right now. Jimmy studies the map and it's come to him. He stops his index finger on the word they've been looking for. It's not a town, it's a lake. I thought it was an island, says this note. Whatever the fuck you want. Mrs. Deedhammer's calling the police and he runs. Dr. Paul Elson, aka Robotnik. Okay. Why is his name Robotnik? Like, you couldn't have, like, gone with the comic lore and called him Kintober? Like, the fuck? So, Dr. Hedgeman's not Robotnik. Paul Elson, for some reason. This is Robotnik. This is our Robotnik. A legendary silence recluse by reputation. So, he is like a Dr. Moreau kind of guy in this world. Okay, whatever. Oh. So he's got, like, an amputated hand, or his fingers are all amputated. Elson was born with no fingers. They gave him inefficient metallic fingers when he was a boy. Oh, okay. So he's got, like, prosthetic metal ones. Okay, that's interesting. See, Doctor, real power is letting something believe even for a moment that you've given it life. Okay, that's a little hardcore. So he's like, I've kidnapped you, and you're just kind of stay here for a while. Jimmy goes on his injured hand is wrapped in a sling. He smuggled a few miniature liquor bottles, orders a soda, and empties them into a glass. He then asks for a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Okay, so he's gonna get a little horny today. He's getting a little horny. Oh, so he just turned into Sonic. He goes in the bathroom and just immediately turns into Sonic. He's like, actually, he's doing like a Violet Beauregard. He's like turning blue and then he just becomes a hedgehog. Jimmy, normal again, steps out and we pan around to see that everyone's on the other side of the planet looking at him. So he was just like, oh, I was hedgehog for a moment there. That's a little weird. Unfortunately, we charge you rental for the boat. And Jimmy's like, whatever. It's a godforsaken place. Nothing lives, nothing dies. Okay, whatever. There's a boat. Suddenly, the men grab Jimmy's backpack, knock him unconscious, and throw him in the water. Okay. Desperate near drowning, Jimmy swims for a dark lamp. This is not a Sonic movie. It's about a guy named Jimmy. It's about Jimmy. This is not a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog movie. This is so stupid. I love it. I love that we're just watching a movie where nothing, or reading a treatment for a movie where literally nothing is happening related to Sonic the Hedgehog. There's one dude who's kind of sort of Robotnik. I'm not joking. This is fucking like Mario movie, like 90s Mario movie levels of fucking insane. He sees a reflection in the murky water. He jumps back in shock when he thinks he sees himself as a strange animal. This is only seen in pieces, not a complete transformation. Something charges at him with a vicious growl. He sees a flash razor sharp teeth. Okay, so then he got taken. Act 2, here we go. The Robotnik is there. He's like walking around. He's like, I've got a volcano lair because I'm fucking insane. Or whatever. And he's like, hey, the world is, and Robotnik's like, hey, the world is kind of fucked up, but here's what I'm gonna do to change it. I'm going to manipulate DNA and create, this was literally this was fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is what happened in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. God created the world in 7 days. It will only take me 1 to correct it. Oh my god, this is literally Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm not even joking. This is Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And he's like, I need your help to create a perfect world where there's gonna be furry hybrids that exist. A 16-year-old girl in a bright wolf and grass tunic puts a knife to his throat. Make another sound and you'll get us all killed. Amanda Morgan. I swear to, is she gonna be Amy? This is gonna be Amy, isn't it? Amanda's gonna be Amy. It's 94. She exists. And then there's like something that goes wild. He gets thrown off a cliff. Okay. He gets thrown off a cliff. He lands in a net above jagged rocks. A hand comes at him with a knife. Oh my god, it is! Knuckles is here! Oh my fucking god! Introduce a giant with huge paws walking upright with long curly dreadlocks for a mane. Cuts Jimmy loose. Introduce Kentaur, a native product of Elson's early research. Jimmy nicknames him Knuckles. Okay, so yeah, Amanda's totally Amy and then Knuckles. What the fuck? What the fuck? This is how you introduce my favorite character? And they go to this, like, village. Creatures similar but no way as large as Knuckles come out to see what's going on. Catechus the Elder holds a long stick, deep green eyes, one long thick... Oh my... Is this Tails? Is this gonna be Tails? Catechus inspects Jimmy, grunts as he pokes and prods and responds, a good fisherman only keeps what he can use. Knuckles and the other mutants cheer, we can kill him! Oh hell yeah! Knuckles, I love you. I love you, Knuckles. Alright, so now we get back to Robotnik. We get to the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. No, I guess the village was like the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 planet, where it's like the whole neighborhood of like mutant animals. This is like Jurassic Park meets Dr. Moreau, I guess. Dr. Hedgeman, mankind is destroying their own planet. I believe they've given up their moral right here. I'm interested in orchestrating harmony, not conflict. I'm inches away. My life is a tragedy. No living thing should have to endure what I went through. It's not such a bad thing to want to do. And Dr. Hedgeman's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Robotnik is like, oh, well, whatever. Amanda's like, hey, spare Jimmy. Oh, and then Amanda calls him Sonic because I guess of the bomber jacket where it says Sonic. So that's how he gets the name Sonic. Cool. So he's now officially Sonic. Bolar, a young creature boy with more guts than smarts, challenges Knuckles. Knuckles wins. Okay, so this has got to fight Knuckles. So this is Sonic versus Knuckles. Cool. Jimmy knows he doesn't stand a chance. He also realizes that at times he's not too different than they are. He becomes angry and depressed. Slumps in a corner. The sun begins to set. The games are dropped. Windows snap shut. There's a violin. The entire shantytown locks itself up from within. So it's like, ooh, something scary's going on. Oh, so Robotnik is like, okay, go out to that village, kidnap people who are like left behind, bring them to me, whatever. Knuckles stands in the middle of a natural amphitheater made out of rocks and tree stumps surrounded by a ring of water. Jimmy's pushed into a center. This is crazy, she stresses. It's the only chance you have. Yeah, so it's Knuckles versus Jimmy. It's a grueling match of brute strength versus an American teenager who's seen a few Bruce Lee movies. And Jimmy tries to turn into Sonic but can't. Knuckles drags Jimmy near the moat and holds his head underwater. Amanda watches. She's terrified. And then he morphs under the water and he's Sonic again. Okay, cool. So I guess maybe they're trying to do like a motif thing with like Sonic and water because, you know, Sonic can't swim in the water. And so Jimmy's like, it's Sonic when he's in the water. Cool. He pulls Knuckles under. Sonic's gonna win. Suddenly, oh yeah, so then Robotnik's creatures come and everyone's freaking out. Amanda gets kidnapped, then Knuckles, then Sonic. Oh no, I guess Sonic saves Amanda and then Knuckles gets kidnapped. I guess that's it. So yeah, Amanda's totally supposed to be like an Amy stand-in. Do you know what will happen to those captured today? They'll be fed to Ellison's other pets. Ellison thinks I'm dead. My father hid me with the villagers. He knew something wasn't. Her father worked for Ellison. He wouldn't continue. He disappeared. If Ellison has him, your dad could be dead too. So she's like a little mutant girl. She's like, my dad worked for Robotnik, and then my dad died, and now I'm here. I mean, she's. I'm just reading. Like, he looks at his own hands, which are still blue, wondering if she could ever be attracted to something that is part monster or worse. Dun dun dun. But I mean, like, she's a mutant girl too, and she kind of understands your plight. Like, Face leads in the captured mutants for Olsen's inspection. Knuckles is one of them. There's an image that's taken by the pilot and outsiders in the village. He kills the pilot in front of Jimmy's father, then explains to him why he couldn't let him live. Filled with imperfections, to let him live would have been a tragedy. Points to Jimmy. He's like, I want that kid. And Knuckles is like, his name is Sonic. He's not one of them. Sonic can be a mutant, and Sonic can also be a human. He's literally Teen Wolf. And then Robotnik is like, cool. Oh, this is interesting. So it literally is now it's kind of like Sonic 3, where or Sonic 2, but this is like is willing. Knuckles is like, I will get you Sonic, just please let me go free. And Robotnik's like, sure thing, dude. I give you 24 hours. Knuckles exits the room with blood in his eyes. Hell yeah, dude. I'm torn between, like, Knuckles isn't a villain, like, in the games, or even in, like, Sonic 2. Like, he was kind of an antagonist, but eventually he was, like, the good guy, because that's how the character works in Sonic 3. But here he's like, I'm gonna fight you, too. I'm gonna fucking bring you here to have this dude murder you so I can live. Like, this is weird. Hedgeman paces, trying to figure out a way to get out from Robotnik's grasp. Dr. Hedgeman unlatches a belt around a bed frame, lays it out on the ground. There's a code. He's like, oh, got an idea. He kind of sneaks through the lab. He does some things. Immediate images come to life. This is Robotnik's real future world. He's created exact replicas of life forms that will walk the planet. A computer-generated ecosystem shows both animals and plants never seen before. Certain perfected plants can actually hunt animals, creatures that travel between land and water, insects that are disproportionate in size to the environment. Humankind has been changed into hardly recognizable half-human, half-creature-like beings. They're all engineered by Robotnik. He plans to harness energy from the dormant volcano to allow him to shoot the mutated replicating DNA into the atmosphere, contaminating the water supply, wiping out imperfections, allowing him the opportunity to transmutate the planet's life forms into his own intelligent, perfect creations. He doesn't have the final key to controlling human DNA. Jimmy sees the dilemma of the villagers to rescue his father and get himself cured. He convinces Amanda that they have to unite to stop Robotnik. But the mutants blame Jimmy. They think he's brought in bad luck. And Amanda's like, no, she challenges them to stand up for themselves just like Sonic is doing. You can't keep living this way. Fight against Robotnik. And they're like, sure. Knuckles makes plans to tip off Robotnik regarding the raid, thus delivering Sonic right into Robotnik's lap. Cool. So then they all go to the volcano lair. Discover the rebels. Jimmy tries to mutate. He fails. They make a run for it. Shoot some of the mutants. He and Amanda get away. This is rock bottom. This is the moment Jimmy turns from boy to man. Yeah. Amanda brings Taticus to see Jimmy. Jimmy's like, I've screwed everything up. Jimmy tells Taticus he's afraid his body's infected and he's dying. I'm not ready to die yet. What? The old man tells him he's dying into something new. We must accept what we become, not deny it. Our only limits are what we put on ourselves. These for good or bad, you can't go backwards. You humans are so arrogant. You think you have the soul right to the planet. All life is a cycle. There's DNA in all living things. Humans are no different. He's like, there's a literal hedgehog spirit inside you now. So, yeah, good luck with that. So then so old dude Tails dies because he gets shot by Face. Knuckles finds Taticus and falls beside the bullet-ridden body. And he's like, you tricked me, Robotnik. It's like Sonic 3 again. I'm on the good guy's side now. With the Elder's death, Amanda realizes they haven't got much time and she'll have to complete Sonic's instructions. Sonic still resists. Knuckles lifts him up. You're not giving up. You can be dead or you can fight, but you're not giving up. Wow. Do a little training montage to help Jimmy control himself as Sonic. Final test is given. And then Jimmy, with the help of Amanda and Knuckles, has a plan to break into the compound to find the other mutants and his father. Finally, Jimmy finds where they're holding the mutants. They're in a damp chamber. Sonic shows he can really use his skills. There's just one problem. Jimmy's father is not there. He gets the mutant villagers to the drop-off point where Amanda and Knuckles are waiting to go back for his dad. Sonic footsteps sends him into a flurry. Amanda and Knuckles lead the group out. Sonic takes off down one of the lava tubes, making a point of getting the attention of the guards. They run after him. Bam! Face hits him over the head. He's out cold, drags into Robotnik. Alright, Act 3. We're almost done. This is taken really long, but we're almost done. That's a good thing. Sonic is strapped to a table, electrodes taped to his arms and heart. A machine takes a blood sample every 2 minutes to monitor changes. With Sonic, the last piece of an intricate puzzle will be completed. And then he becomes Robotnik. He plans to do a fucking vivisection on Sonic. Robotnik is going to do a vivisection to find out what makes him able to change between human and mutant. Hedgeman is held in Sonic's sight by some of the henchmen. Sonic doesn't cooperate, the dad is gonna die. It's DNA tests. Takes a strain of Sonic's DNA and fuses it. Complete DNA, cool. Elson can now prepare to harness enough volcanic energy so he can shoot mutated DNA and contaminate the water supply. Sonic and Dr. Hedgehog leave. They're put in a pit. Father and son have a rare moment together in the face of death. Suddenly, bam, 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 Knuckles and Amanda come to the rescue. Sonic goes after Robotnik. Hedgehog sneaks to a place to get an SOS message out. Knuckles fights Amy, or Amanda. It's Amy. Let's just admit, it's Amy. He has his hands full as Sonic goes for Robotnik. Lightning quick, knocks Robotnik 1, 2, 3. Grabs capsule, downs DNA serum. Transforms into a giant mutated thing. This is not a Sonic movie. I've said this already. This is not a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Sonic is like again, this is like Mario movie from the 90s. Like, the names are just kind of slapped in here, and you just kind of gotta live with it. And then, oh, Sonic got knocked unconscious. The mutant villagers feel the rumble. They run for cover. Sonic rises and tears into Robotnik, throws him off. Sonic gathers all his energy and spins through the volcanic rock to the launch pad. Tails wasn't in this. There was Sonic, there was Robotnik, there was Knuckles, there was kind of Amy. Was Taticus meant to be Tails? I feel like it kind of was. I feel like that was kind of meant to be like the quote-unquote Tails, even though there wasn't really like the name for it. But like, Tails wasn't in this. That's weird. Like, how do you make a Sonic movie without Tails, but like everybody else? Sonic, Amanda, Knuckles, and Dr. Hedgehog make an escape. They leave. Mutant villagers come out of hiding. Robotnik's defeated. Jimmy's father tells him he's sorry for not believing in him and he's very proud of him. Jimmy apologizes and tells his dad they got a bit of a problem still. He thought it was tough raising an ordinary teenager. You ain't seen nothing yet. The end. What the fuck was this? What the fuck was this? I'm still reeling over, like, everything. Like, first of all, you made a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. You didn't make it with Tails. You didn't include any kind of reference to Tails. Unless, again, Taticus, but whatever. Amanda, who, let's just admit, she was supposed to be Amy. One of the natives who got transformed is Knuckles. Okay, cool. Elson, who's only called Robotnik, like, once, as far as this treatment is kind of going. It's Elson, but like just once he's kind of called Robotnik, and then you're like, oh, Robotnik, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, at least the Mario movie from the 90s had more name drops. Like, as weird as they kind of were, and they kind of, like, the King Koopa, and it's just, like, whole dude. Toad is just, like, a random beatnik or whatever. Like, it's really, like, the Goombas, like, whatever. Like, that's weird, but this original version of the Sonic movie is really weird. But, like, this was so interesting to look at. Like, wow, that's amazing. This was a piece of history, and we got access to it, and I got to react to it for you to see, and this is going to be a very long video. Thank you so much for watching, for real. Yeah, and bye!